By the end of this video, you'll stop your quest for the best mic. And that's because there really is no best mic. It's the mic that you can get a hold of and use. The whole industry revolves around, these comparisons. But in fact, when you start using mics in the wild and you just start going for it, you realize that a lot of them work just fine. It's like going to buy a TV. And when you've got all those TVs on the wall, you see the comparison right next to each other. And then you're like, ooh, this one's better, this one's better. But you know what? If you were to not have that comparison, you just brought back any of those TVs, you slapped them on the wall, you would not be thinking, this is a bad TV. You would be like, cool, this is awesome. It's the same thing, I think, with a lot of technology these days. There's a bunch that'll work just fine, and we get caught up in the comparison with numbers and all that kind of stuff. Really, at the end of the day, just grab something that you think is going to work, go for it. If it doesn't, return it, or keep using it and then gravitate to the next one. The creative journey is ever evolving, and in that evolution is your use of different equipment, and mics are just one of those elements. All the different mics that I come across here, they all serve their different purposes, whether if you're recording inside or outside. And the current setup they have right here, well, is that the best one? Maybe it is for me, but not for you. So follow along, let's check out what all these different mics had to offer and end your journey for the best mic so that you can stop procrastinating about what you really want to create. All right, first off, we're going to start out with the mic on this Canon M50. That's what I'm using right now, okay? And I'm going to go through different mics. There's 8 in total. This is from someone in the trenches just doing the work. The creative venture, so to speak, right? And so I'm going to give you my perspective on this so that you can make your own decisions, but realize that at the end of the day, the wisdom of everything comes from actually doing. Every mic has a magic to it. And it really depends on where you're using it, why you're using it, voiceovers, or if you're outside versus inside, and what you're actually doing, podcasting or just regular content creation. When you get into researching mics, there's one other secret that I've found above all else, and that is, one, most likely you're not going to like your voice, and there's some scientific reasons why. But also, when you get into the venture of using mics, you'll realize that mics are a lot of fun, and there's no one mic. Again, that's my premise. There is no one mic that you're ever going to use. You're going to dance between all these different mics, and the real secret is the resonance of your voice, and that's where the magic really comes from. Okay, so we're switching over to the shotgun mic. This is the DJI Mic, right? It's relatively inexpensive, and I think it works really well. I actually really like shotgun mics because it's real obvious where you point this is where you're going to pick up the voice content, right? And even though I'm not outside, I like using this filter because it also acts as kind of like a little pop filter, so you don't get that pop. Now, what's great about this shotgun mic is it actually can go in the shoe holder and be on top of the camera. But what I found is the sound quality is actually better the closer it is, to my mouth. Obviously, right? I usually either try to hold it right here, or I've got a little bungee cord here. It's kind of janky actually, but I try to set it up so that it's kind of out of the way, but in place. Real quick, this is the DJI Mic, and now this is the audio from the camera itself. And now we're going back to the DJI Mic. What'd you think? I think either one is going to do fine. I think it depends on your situation. Okay, so what we're going to do is a quick reaction video. I haven't done this for a while, so bear with me on this. But this is basically using the blue snowball, which actually works out pretty well, but you'll see what you think about the audio. But check this out. This is really cool. This is some interesting talk about lighting, but the lighting ideas apply to a lot more than just lighting.
What makes lighting interesting is contrast. The difference between light and dark, warm and cool, red and blue, whatever. This is not a concrete rule that you need to follow. The truth is, there are no real rules, but there are guidelines to help you in the right direction.
Think about that. The contrast that you can get through audio, through visuals. Contrast is everything when you're doing stories, all of it, all the creative expression. And there are no rules, there are only guidelines. Now, there are some core principles built on psychology, audiences, and everything like that. They go back way, way far, much further than the internet goes, right? But once you have some core principles down, there really are no rules. It's just guidelines. And it's fun to break the rules, to experiment, and so on. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, what do you think about the blue snowball? Okay, so this is what it's like with just the MacBook Pro mic. So what do you think about that, right? I mean, it's not too bad, right? And you can see, the contrast of it. All of these have their benefits. Like if you just have a MacBook Pro, you can just take it out and start using it. This is again using ScreenFlow still. Whatever you're doing, like in the moment, just use that audio. There's so much editing capabilities, like within DaVinci Resolve, that allow you to isolate the audio, to boost the audio, to enhance it. That if you can get some good audio initially, which actually in my final analysis, I'll talk about my secret weapon here. And within this DJI Mic 2, why I think it's actually one of the best choices. So stay tuned for that, because I can use this in so many different situations, inside out. And there's a secret to this that makes it better than any of the mics so far. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to switch over though to this 920. Now I've had this for a while too. This thing is a beast. It's awesome. Used for, streaming and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna see what the mic's like from that. Okay, so now I've got the C920. Now I've always loved this thing. I think it works out really well. But I don't know how it does the test of time. I haven't used this for years, and so I just brought it out for this test. I keep a lot of my equipment. I don't know why, but sometimes it comes in handy, like doing tests like this. But what do you think about this? This is really cool. I actually use this with Ecamm Live, and in a future video I'll have some comparison of that. But again, I'm just again using ScreenFlow, and I think the audio might not be too bad, and you can get away with it. I think it's obviously going to be much better than the MacBook Pro audio. Okay, so this is with the iPhone 13 Pro, and so you can see what the audio is like. I don't think it's probably too bad, but I wanted to show you something. This right here, of course, the DJI Mic 2, which I've already mentioned, this has 32-bit float, which, interestingly enough, when you get this, you can't actually change it unless you have the receiver. Now, you can also actually get a camera that it works with, like this right here, which is the Action 5 Pro. Okay, and this is awesome. This is my current setup that I love the most, and that's because I get the most information out of both the camera itself, which has a bunch of different settings. You can do M-Log, so you can basically get all the information you need and then tweak things later, both with the audio, because it's 32-bit float, which means you won't get that peaking that you do get with 24-bit. Okay, here we are with the Blue Yeti. I've actually had to do this several times. I don't know why, but it seems to keep on kicking out on me. But it does actually, when it does work, and I'm sure it's on my end, not the actual mic itself. But what do you think? What do you think about the audio on this? It's great because this has all kinds of different tweaks you can do to it. You can, if you have an interview with someone, you can change the dial on this, or if you're wanting it more like a shotgun mic. Anyway, it changes the area for which it picks up your audio, which is really cool. It's got a gain and a volume you can play with. But with, of course, with all the editing like DaVinci Resolve, you can do so much with isolating audio and boosting audio. So once you get a clear recording, such as with the DJI Mic 2 with 32-bit, which I'll show you next, then you're golden. Okay, so what's great about the DJI Mic 2, which I've got right here, is that I can actually record to this internally. And then I make a sound that spikes, and that allows me to line up the audio that's within the camera with this audio. And then I can easily just use this audio instead of the one that's in the camera. Now, what's also really cool is that it's easy to compare as well. So what do you think about this audio? And then let's compare the camera audio. Any good, right? Okay, so here's another idea with content creation. It has to do with the squiggly line. Like content creation, it seems like should be like delivering packages, let's say. You have a package, you get it, you drive it to a location, you deliver it. A to B to C, right? But creativity doesn't always work that way. It's a squiggly line. You have some ideas and you start to move forward with them, but then other things come in and they change and morph, and that's the beauty of creativity that moves it beyond something that I think AI could actually do. AI is great at executing, like the logical mind is great at actually executing. But the other parts, the intuition and the creative elements of our spirit, are a lot of what guide us as humans. And when we acknowledge that and actually utilize it, that's where we can actually use our creative expression as a superpower, regardless of AI. And AI itself becomes an executor, and it becomes an alliance rather than something that overrides who and what we are. Just a thought. Hey, as a future Wyatt, just a few different notes. One, always test your audio real quickly to make sure that your mic is working, because, that's the benefit, of course, of the DJI Mic 2, is that it actually has a backup audio feature. So if the audio with the Bluetooth should fail, it actually can record internally at the same time. It's actually saved me in a lot of different circumstances, especially if you do interviews. But anyway, I'm hoping I'm conveying the overall evolution of creativity and how mics, cameras, anything you've got is part of that evolution. There is no perfect mic, so to speak, because there's no perfect camera. It's a creative evolution. You start to see where, okay, you can use, like, let's say a podcasting mic for voiceovers, and you get really solid audio and you fall in love with it. But the thing of it is, in the beginning, maybe you're not going to spend $400 to $1,000 or more to get that kind of sound quality. But as you evolve and you start to gain the wisdom of creating and you fall in love with all of it, then you realize it's all worth it. Like the equipment, the classes, whatever kind of things you can get that have you evolve are totally worth it. It's all part of the process. But instead of trying to be perfect all along the way, you don't have to, but I find it a lot easier just to see it as an evolution. And that evolution is just a revolution of consciousness that comes through creating. Also, if you want to go deeper with any of this, mini exercises and challenges, it gets you apply things right away. Then click on this QR code here or check out the link in the description, and I'll see you inside there. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give a like. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.